This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, coming at you here with another COVID-19 84 update. And we've got three major stories to cover in today's video, guys, so let's just jump right into it. Today we're going to start with this one. Quebec to impose significant financial penalty against people who refuse to get vaccinated. Quebec Premier François Legault announced the province will apply a significant financial penalty for residents who refuse to get vaccinated against COVID-19 84 for non-medical reasons. This apparently has thousands of people signing up for their first dose of COVID-19 84 vaccine as Quebec threatens to tax the unvaxxed. We're also going to look at the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, who put out a statement on Quebec's tax proposal, saying that the Premier Legault is taking the unprecedented step of taxing Quebecers based on their personal medical choices. He is proposing a direct penalty for being unvaccinated, compelling individuals to undergo medical treatment. And as if you didn't think that was bad enough, get a load of this also going on in Quebec. We see here now a Quebec judge suspends unvaccinated man's visitation rights with his child. A Quebec Superior Court judge has temporarily suspended a father's right to see his child based on evidence that the man is not vaccinated against COVID-19 84 and appears to oppose government anti-pandemic health measures, guys. And that's the really crazy thing about this story, is that's what it really comes down to, is that he's against these things and what the judge calls a conspiracy theorist, so they're taking his kids away from him. That comes despite the fact, guys, that the COVID survival rate for kids under the age of 20 is 99.9987% according to the Stanford epidemiology professor's study. So we're going to look at that once again. We looked at this yesterday, but it bears repeating, especially because of the fact that we are now escalating into the point where a BC family is being evicted from Ronald McDonald House due to their vaccine status. A young Kelowna family says it is being evicted from Ronald McDonald House, RMH, in Vancouver, where their 4-year-old son is fighting leukemia because they don't have their COVID-19 84 shots. Here is the letter, effective January 17th. Everyone 5 years and older who are working, staying, or visiting the facility must show proof of full vaccination. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, the father, rightly so, confronted the Ronald McDonald House in this video, which has gone viral. So we're going to take a close look at this video and everything else we've touched on in this video, guys. But before we do, I'd ask that you check us out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Here's where you can make a one-time contribution with PayPal if you appreciate my efforts to continuously bring you this information. If you want to contribute Bitcoin, you can do so by clicking on that banner there. If you want to become a patron of mine, you can click on that banner to become a patron. I also accept other cryptocurrencies. You can do so by clicking there. If you want to sign up for a monthly reoccurring contribution outside of Patreon, you can do so by signing up here. I also take e-transfers, which are available at dan@pressfortruth.ca, or if you prefer to keep it old school, I also accept cash and checks and equipment and simply just words of encouragement. That can all be sent to my P.O. box. Links are located in the description below. Thank you so much to everybody who does contribute to my efforts to continuously counter all the propaganda. I can't do this work without you guys. All right, so let's just jump right into it, folks. Quebec is now imposing significant financial penalties against people who refuse to be vaccinated. As we see here, the Premier made the announcement at a news conference Tuesday afternoon, describing the measure as a health care contribution, though the exact amount has not yet been determined. Could you imagine, being a family-run business and the mob comes around, the mafia comes around to collect their monthly payments. They got their gun stuck to your head and they say, do you have your monthly contribution? And you're sitting there, shaking at the thought of the mob killing you. And so you say, here's my contribution. Is it a contribution, really? Or is it actually extortion? Is it actually theft that is really going on here? Well, that's what's going on with the Quebec government right now. It's full-out extortion. It's full-out theft for them to come after the unvaccinated's taxes. The province is consulting with the finance minister and its legal advisors about implementing the measures, but Legault said $50 or $100 is not significant enough for him. In fact, this has already been happening in other places. I've already reported on how it's happening in Austria, where they have insane fines, like a lot of money, amounting upwards of $20,000 a year if you continue to go unvaccinated. In Greece, I think it's for people over the age of 60, they have to give $100 a month in this unvaccinated tax. That works out to about $143 a month Canadian. That's a significant chunk of change for a lot of people over there. So again, this is theft. This is extortion at its worst, and it has been happening in other countries. But I warned when we saw that we're soon going to see it come to Canada, and lo and behold, Quebec is one of the first ones to go for this. The tax would apply to all adults in Quebec who refuse to get their first dose of the vaccine in the next few weeks. According to the Premier, he says the unvaccinated will have a bill to pay because there are consequences on our healthcare network, and it's not up to all Quebecers to pay for this. It's a question of equity. Because right now, these people, they put a very important burden on our healthcare network, and I think it's normal that the majority of the population is asking that there be consequences, he said. And I honestly don't think that the majority of people are asking that there be consequences. This is just, government backdoor extortion that's happening. And yes, we will continue to look at the spread and the use of the vaccine passport, but I think we have to go further. The vaccine passport's not enough. And of course, we're going to see Quebecers challenging this in court. A Facebook group of thousands of unvaccinated Quebecers, people have described the move as psychological warfare, and they said they wanted to challenge it in court. And as I said, I think we're going to see a lot of constitutional challenges. In fact, that's what the Canadian Civil Liberty Association pretty much has to say, is what you can expect. Our charter recognizes individual autonomy over our bodies and medical decisions. Allowing the government to levy fines on those who do not agree with the government's recommended medical treatment is a deeply troubling proposition. To justify this kind of restriction on constitutionally protected rights, the government must provide clear and compelling evidence and demonstrate that there were no other reasonable alternatives. Quebec's proposal also raises significant equity concerns. We have universal public health care in Canada. We do not fine individuals who make poor diet or exercise choices, those who choose high-risk occupations or recreational activities. Some essential services like basic health care for those who are ill transcend such individual choices. This is a divisive measure that will end up punishing and alienating those who may be most in need of public health support and services. We know that some of those who remain unvaccinated are individuals who face serious barriers to accessing healthcare, and many have a low level of trust in the system because of negative experiences in the past. The government should abandon this divisive and constitutionally vulnerable proposal. And as I said, I think there's going to be countless constitutional challenges to this. And, a judge really should completely throw this out when it does come down the line. But is that really likely to happen in Quebec with the Quebec judges acting the way they are? I mean, get a load of this, ladies and gentlemen, as this Quebec judge has now suspended an unvaccinated man's visitation rights with his child. In a decision published December 23rd, Justice Sebastian Vaillancourt wrote that the continued visitation was not in the interest of the 12-year-old child or the child's two younger half-siblings, given the state of the pandemic. This judge thinks it's more so in the interest of the child to be fatherless than to go unvaccinated and to have to be around somebody unvaccinated for a virus with a 99.9987% recovery rate for people under the age of 20. The decision states that the man told the courts that despite his reservations surrounding vaccination, he followed the rules in place and he rarely leaves home, is what he says. However, Vaillancourt wrote that posts on the father's Facebook page suggests he was a conspiracy theorist, which led the court to doubt he was actually following the rules as he claimed. So this judge makes the decision that, he looked at his Facebook, decides that it looks like he's posting conspiracy theories. He's probably not actually following the rules. Therefore, No more visitation rights for your kids for you. You see how the incremental moves go? At first, it's win a lottery if you get the vaccine. Have free burgers and free beer if you get the vaccine. And then that slowly morphed into, all right, look, get the vaccine or you're not going to get to work. You're not going to get to go to a restaurant or access society or go to concerts. Just do it already. And that is slowly now morphing into the mandatory, and the point where they're saying, if you do not do it, we're going to tax you. And if you continue to not do it, we're going to take your children away from you. We're not going to allow you to see your kids unless you acquiesce, unless you fall into the coercion and you get the experimental mRNA technology jabbed into you. This is just absolute insanity, folks. There's got to be a better word for it, but I'm just blown away by this. The judge noted, while it's normally in a child's best interest to see his father, the rapid rise of Omicron variant and the fact that the child lives with half-siblings too young to be vaccinated meant that it was no longer the case. So the judge noted it's normally in a child's best interest to see his father, but the rise of the Omicron variant changes all that, guys. You know how many children have died because of the Omicron variant? 0! That's a big fat goose egg, people. 0 children have died as a result of the Omicron variant, yet this judge is not allowing this father to see his children because of the fact that the fear state is so hyped up right now that people have gone completely insane. As we said, survival rate for kids under the age of 20, 99.9987%, according to this Stanford epidemiology professor's report. We reported on this yesterday. Just to follow up on it, the authors of the study concluded the data reflects the reality that the infection fatality rate of COVID-1984 is substantially lower than previously reported estimates. The study's findings confirm that COVID is a mild disease in all but a small minority of cases, with Omicron now reducing the severity several-fold further. Even the proponents of lockdowns should be able to accept that this virus is well below the level where restrictions are justifiable. The results of the study once again brings into the question the rationality of giving COVID-1984 vaccines to young people and children. You have to question the rationality behind that when we see there is a 99.9987% survival rate for people of that age who contract the virus. Meanwhile, this judge wants to take this guy's kids away from him. This is an absolute travesty. This man needs to be removed from the bench. Valiant Court wrote that the suspension of visitation rights should be as short as possible and can be reversed once the epidemiological situation changes and the father decides to get vaccinated and conforms to the health measures. So if you want to see your kids, you're just going to have to conform. Guys, I've already pointed out in a video the other day that kids are not dying of this. This is largely being misrepresented in the mainstream media. I put out this: 2 Ontario children under 10 COVID deaths debunked, and mandatory vaccines coming to Canada. If you go to the description of the video, you click on more, you go down to all the sources, you'll see I put out another video not long ago titled "The Truth About the Alberta Teen's Death and the Fake News Surrounding the COVID-1984 Death Counts," where I showed how he actually died of stage 4 brain cancer. But the Alberta Premier and all the health authorities and officials got up on the airwaves and said this is a travesty, children are dying. Turned out not to be true, completely false. But the damage was already done in the minds of the masses, guys, to think that this is actually a problem for children. And now we're to the point where we see a BC family being evicted from Ronald McDonald's house due to their COVID-1984 vaccine status. And if you're not familiar with Ronald McDonald House, what it is it's a charitable organization that receives donations so that they can put up kids in accommodations close to a hospital where they're going to have to frequently be visiting this hospital. So this child's 4 years old, suffering from cancer, is using their facilities. He's actually been doing well, getting better there. And the father just received a notice saying they're going to be evicted from the facility because they are not vaccinated. So let's take a quick look at that, guys. My wife Lindsay was crying on the bed, Austin Ferguson told True North on Tuesday night. I told her, I'm going back to ask the manager about this because this isn't even real. I said, this can't be real. RMH is a charity that provides families with a place to live with their child while they fight serious illness at nearby hospitals, and they have locations all around the world. And a copy of the eviction notice, essentially, was provided. And here it is, guys, and I will include links to everything in the description if you want to check it all out for yourself. But as I said, this father busted out his camera, and he went and confronted the people at Ronald McDonald House, and the video went viral. So I want to quickly show you that video. Guys, if you've already seen this one, you know, go ahead and fast forward 7 minutes and you come back to my commentary and the wrap-up of this video. If you haven't seen it yet, though, give this video a watch. I'm going to play it in full because this is the kind of brave stance that parents need to take when they see the hypocrisy. And they know within their gut that something is downright not only wrong, is downright evil is going on. And it has to be confronted and it has to be exposed. So kudos to this father. I have reached out for an interview. Hopefully he'll get back to me. But until then, check out the video that he just put out last night that has since gone viral, showing him confronting the people at Ronald McDonald House over him and his wife's conviction while their 4-year-old child battles cancer. Check this out.
So this is a piece of paper. Can Lindsay zoom in on it? This is an eviction notice, I believe, to anybody older than 5 who's not vaccinated is getting evicted from Ronald McDonald House. So I'm just gonna go talk to people at the counter and see if it's legit or not. Hey there. Do you have like a manager here or somebody that you can talk to? It's about this letter we got, about saying everybody here has to be vaccinated. Hey. Well, I'm just asking, like we got this last night.
Yes.
And, it's just pretty disturbing. I'm just wondering if it's legit. Is this saying that like everybody who's not vaccinated is getting evicted?
Well, we have a grace period to which you can get your first dose,
Yeah.
but essentially as of January 17th, it's a board mandate from our board.
So I just want to get this straight. So by the end of the month, my 4-year-old boy with leukemia is getting evicted because we don't have a vaccine.
The parents.
This is, if he was 6 months older, he would be getting evicted. But yeah, because we don't have the vaccine, you're going to throw us on the snow with a few weeks' notice. Like, this is some kind of crazy evil like I have never seen in my life. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. Everybody knows you still have to wear the masks because you can go out and catch COVID, transmit it, and bring it back in. That's why vaccinated people have to wear masks though, so it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. So just, like, the idea is to make people safer. This isn't about safety. This is coercing people to get a vaccine, choosing between their children and their own beliefs, whether it's religious beliefs, whether they're hesitant to get a vaccine. My kid has gotten all his vaccines. We're not anti-vaxxers. This is absolutely an abomination.
So just let me get this clear. Are you both of you vaccinated?
No.
Okay. So what we're doing is protecting the safety of everybody in the house.
No, you're not. Because a vaccinated person can still get it and transmit it.
That's right. And so what we're trying to do is reduce our risks to the entire
That doesn't make sense. Your conscience is seared. Do you understand? This is absolutely evil.
So do you want me to...
You're evicting kids with leukemia, kids who have strokes,
So what if
kids with Down syndrome. Do you understand how evil this is?
Would you like to just...
Where are we going to go?
Are you...
It's hard enough to get by and everything.
Are you using BCFRP? Are you being funded through BCFRP to stay here?
There are cops for kids that's helping us out, and then... And
So
then,
how long have you been here?
we've been here for months. We have all our stuff here.
Yeah.
And we're still here till
Totally
June.
understand that. completely understand that.
No matter what your beliefs are, no matter what country you're from or anything, everybody supports sick kids. Everybody thinks kids would be supported, and you're saying that over a vaccine, you're going to evict them. Like, think about what our national anthem says. Like, this is not Canada. This is an absolute disgrace to our country. To be saying that, no, you're sick with leukemia, he's not welcome here anymore? I thought we were a country that stood against segregation, and now you're about to set up a room and scan people's vaccine passports and say, this group of people can stay, and this group of people, you're going outside. Like, this is just so messed up, and I don't even know what to say. Like, this country's conscience is seared. This is what we think is good and moral and safe, because there's absolutely no coherent thought to this at all. Anybody can transmit COVID. A vaccinated person, unvaccinated person, Omicron's 80% less deadly than the previous variants, and we're strangling people even more now? This is absolutely insane. So, I'm just saying, like, don't think you guys are just going to get away with this, because we're going to fight this and just expose this to people, because this is a great evil that has been done today. To evict sick kids. With 3 weeks notice?
We're giving you an opportunity. And since he's under 5, he doesn't need to be vaccinated, but certainly the parents staying here do.
But if he was 6 months older, you would evict a 5-year-old with leukemia.
If he has an accommodation through the hospital, it's the parents.
It's
The
okay.
house is set up is for
It's
the
okay.
parents. So
People whose consciences are still intact, people who still believe in things like love your neighbor and don't believe in segregation will know that this is wrong.
So what do we?
There are states in the U.S. that have no problems, and then there's one regulation, one mandate, they're totally open. The whole world is laughing at us. And think of Australia. If you have COVID, they take you away to a camp for 2 weeks.
So I hear what you're saying. And I
This
appreciate
is absolutely
that.
crazy.
So why don't I just get your room number, and we can also set you up with further questions that you might have. What room number are you in?
It's 232.
232. Okay.
I don't want to do this. I'm an agreeable person. I hate confrontation. But this is so bad. As a man of God, I'm telling you, like, this cannot go. Like, this is segregation. That's what crazy people are. They say, my body, my choice, my body, my choice. What about my wife's, her body, her choice? It's okay if she wants to get a 3rd trimester abortion, her body, her choice. Then now she doesn't want to get a vaccine that all it does is reduces your chances of hospitalization and death. Like, how does that keep everybody here safe?
So thank you for letting me know your thoughts.
It's common sense, it's logic. This is the truth. This is coercion to try to make people choose between their children and against their conscience. It's wrong.
The social worker will help work
Yeah,
with
no,
you.
I'm going to call my social worker. She's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm going to go to breakfast.
Okay.
So that's the kind of brave stance we need parents to take. And, you know, he's being heavily ridiculed online right now for the position that he has taken. But it's so important that we support people like this. He says here, you know, no matter what people's beliefs are, everyone donates to this place because everyone wants to save kids, he said. If there was anything left to unite our country, that would have been it. And still, they find a way to segregate us and divide us even more. I'm broken inside for our country at just how fast this has accelerated. Ferguson's family of 4 has been staying there since October, when their 4-year-old son Jack began his cancer treatments for leukemia. Our kid's been doing good, really good, Ferguson said. God's been doing great miracles for our kid. His hair was supposed to fall out 2 months ago, and it never did. He got lots of energy. He's super positive. Everything was going great. But then he said after he got the notice, he was up all night thinking about what to do, and he realized, I felt like God was telling me in my heart, you have to address this as a man. You have to expose this for what it is, he told True North. There's no other way that they can do this. There's no way they can do it. It's just plain evil. And I am very pleased to say that a friend of the family launched a GoFundMe campaign, and I'm so happy to see that society is stepping up and realizing that this is a grave injustice. This is absolutely wrong. They've asked $5,000, and when I started this video working on it like an hour ago, it was at $55,000. Every single time I refresh it, it comes up as more. Look at that. Already now up to $82,960. That is absolutely fantastic. I'm really happy that that people are stepping up and supporting brave men and women, families like this, who are standing up against the medical tyranny, the apartheid, the segregation of society into this two-tier vaxxed versus the unvaxxed system. So really, really great. I'm hoping this will shatter through the 100,000, 200,000, maybe it'll get 250,000, and it will send a message to people that we're not going to put up with this kind of stuff. And I have a message to Mitch Murphy, the organizer of this particular fundraiser. Cash out as soon as you can. Trust me, GoFundMe can't be trusted. They're probably going to have a lot of people red flagging this campaign. They're going to suggest that you guys are some sort of dangerous super spreaders, and they may terminate the campaign and refund all the funds. So if you happen to be watching this right now, cash out as soon as you possibly can. Don't trust GoFundMe with your donations that rightly so you deserve, rightly so. There's a better platform called Go Get Funding. It's a Christian platform. I know you guys are Christians. There's a far better chance that you're not going to be censored and removed from the crazy people who think you're violating medical laws here. So go check out gogetfunding.com instead of GoFundMe. And if you happen to be watching this, cash out right now, guys, because $82,000 is a lot of money. I'm sure that's going to be significant for you and your family. But people are going to attack this campaign, mark my words. So please, if you know these people, tell them, cash out as soon as possible before GoFundMe turns us around on them. They've done it to me. You guys may recall when I was covering back in 2020 the BLM rallies in Vancouver, and a whole bunch of them, unrightfully so, turned on me. About 150 people attacked me in a mob mentality attack. About a dozen police surrounded me to offer protection, and then somebody stole and smashed my GoPro. I launched a GoFundMe campaign to raise $800 to get enough money to get my GoPro back. Just like in this case, people saw that a grave injustice was done to me, and I ended up receiving $7,000, not just $800. But guess what? GoFundMe terminated the account and refunded everybody's money back to them. That came as quite a shock to me. But it's very, very possible that might happen to this family too. So guys, get the word out that they need to cash out now, and show your support for people exactly like this. Because we're up against quite a behemoth of a battle here, guys. When you see in Quebec they're clamping down, now going to tax the unvaxxed. We see judges taking their children away from fathers who are unvaxxed, unrightly so, especially when we see that the survival rate for people under the age of 20 is 99.9987%. According to the study, guys, don't take my word for it. Please do your due diligence. All the links to this video are going to be located in the description below. Once again, show your love and support for these guys who are taking the brave stance. And once again, if you appreciate my efforts to continue to bring you guys this information, don't forget to check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Once again, all the links are located for all of this stuff in the description below. And that's all for today's video, guys. Just wanted to bring that to your attention because we are being very heavily propagandized, brainwashed by the mainstream media. We have to turn off the television programming, they call it that for a reason, and continue to tune into the sources of alternative information that are cutting through all this propaganda to bring you the truth of what's going on in the world. If you appreciate that, guys, once again, click that thumbs up button, share this video if you found the information to be useful, and stay tuned, my friends. I'm going to have more video reports coming very soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.